the thing about having limits blown off your life, or as we've entitled the message, to limit less, so you can limit less of the things that you're used to being limited in. This one goes to Zacchaeus. Aware of his own limitations, refused to sit in them, did what he had to do, climbing there. And there was a lot more than just the climbing that was going on for him. The Bible says that he was rich. He was a chief tax collector. Had everything it is. He was despised by his own people, because if you were a tax collector in that day, you were basically considered a traitor because of the occupation of Rome in the land. How could you sell out your own people? Being that he was chief, he was probably head of a pretty big region. Having everything it is, he may have been a short guy, but he was pretty big. People knew who he was. And for him to consider that Jesus, we don't know what he heard about it, but he heard that there's a guy walking around saying he's the Messiah. He's performing all these miracles. And the thought of that being a reality to him being short, wasn't going to stop him from getting an encounter with the Lord. So he climbs the tree. I don't know, any tree climbers in here? I'm not a big fan of heights, but I like to scare myself sometimes, so I'll do things that are kind of high. Used to get high, so there you go. We used to have this tree in front of our house, and it was pretty up there. I don't know, maybe 30, 40 feet. I'm 5'9", with prayer. 5'10" with some slight lift in the shoe. But that's pretty big to me. And I remember one time, one of our cousins, somebody climbed up there and got stuck. And one of our other cousins or a neighbor had to go up there and get him. That's a pretty risky thing at times, climbing the tree. But this guy was not going to allow the moment to pass him by to encounter the Savior, to see if Jesus was all that he had heard. And we obviously see the story. He gave away half of what he had earned. You know, in Jewish thinking for that time, if you gave, you weren't even permitted by the law to give really more than 20%. So you wouldn't become a burden on somebody else. And at Jesus sitting at the table with him, his whole heart was, I'm going to give half of everything it is in a way. And if I've cheated anybody, I'm going to pay them fourfold what it is that they lost. And towards the end, as time had went on, the Mishnah law that the priests followed, they would only ask you to just repay what you took. So no doubt there was an encounter here. But that encounter wouldn't have happened had this man decided that he was hungry enough to do whatever he had to do to get a hold of Jesus as he was going by. A lot of people live in this thing where can't do it. They speak Cantonese. Lose the Cantonese, my friend. Get cant out of the way, and you'll see God do things that you never knew possible. I remember Heather and I were at a function for her work. It was in Hollywood. It was a Linda Blair function. I wasn't there to cast out any devils or anything like that, just so you know. I was there. I was off the clock now. So we're there, and there's actors and all these people walking around. Some of them I know, some of them I just recognize by face. And I run into this guy, and he's kind of a famous actor. You've probably seen him, Danny Trejo. Whenever you want a mean Mexican-looking guy, not Mexican, I can say that, mean Mexican guy that just has that look, you call in Danny Trejo and they put him on film. But the thing is whenever you look at him on film, he looks massive, big, buffed out, tattoos, Fu Manchu, the whole deal, you know, this big guy. So I'm in this thing, and I'm walking around, people are crowded, somebody taps me on the shoulder and says, "Excuse me, big guy, can I get through?" I turn around and I look down, my friend, and here's Danny Trejo. I'm looking down and I'm like, wow, you're really small. Hey, little buddy, let's let him on through. But I'm used to seeing this guy look so big on TV, and now here he is, and like, you know, Jacob could take him, probably. So, you know, some things aren't always what they appear to be. But apart from any Hollywood magic, Zacchaeus refused to remain small. Amen. And he did what he had to do to get the right view. So